Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
This is Alex. This is the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight from the East Coast of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, after all these weeks, as I live and breathe, is Stephen Pearl.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I'm fine. I'm well. I'm on top of the world.
Did you get yourself a new phone?
Boing.
Did you get yourself a new phone or something?
A new what?
A new phone? Because it looks good.
Phone.
Huh?
Same phone.
Yeah. Sounds still a little funky. What's happening with you getting a computer back, Stephen Pearl?
Nothing. Zero. Still, nobody can fix it.
God, if I were out there, I could probably fix it in a minute and a half.
I know. I wish you would. Come
Well,
on out
all
here,
you got to do, if you can't remember, your problem was you forgot the password, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all you have to do is just erase the hard drive, reinstall the operating system, and then it'll ask you to put in passwords and things like that. That's all you have to do.
I walked you right after you said all you have to do is...
All you have to do is replace the operating system. That's the program.
Replace the computer.
Like it's a Windows, right?
New table.
It's a Windows machine, right?
Yes.
And then it has a thing called, well, in this case, probably Windows 10, something like that. I don't know what the current is. And you just erase your hard drive and then install the operating system. And then you're starting. It's like a brand new machine.
Okay, somebody give me a hammer. I'll fix it. Give me a hammer and some chocolate sauce.
You know, it's amazing the people I have to deal with who have absolutely no ability at technology.
Yeah, we're not used to it. We're used to the telephone.
Yeah. Well, you're an old man. We have to account for that.
I remember. I saw Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah. Have you gotten your shot yet?
Nope. But they're giving them away in the apartment building on the 26th, so I just may give in.
Oh, go do it. Don't.
What if I grow another head though, and it doesn't like the same music as me?
Do I look like I grew another head?
It could be in the back room. I don't know. You could like taking it off. I don't know.
Well, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. My wife is still kind of feeling sick from it, but I don't know what that is.
See, it takes your immune system away. That's what it does. I'm starting a rumor. Takes your immune system away and makes one of your eyes see into the future.
Well, guess what they've done today here in New York City?
What have they done in New York City?
New York State, rather.
New York State.
They have what's the word? They have let go of the last barriers between us and the state approving marijuana legalization.
Finally, it's about time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You got to go to New Jersey to get that shit.
Well, they figured that, you see, it took COVID to make them do it. And the reason it took COVID to make them do it was they're broke. Right?
You want a good economy, legalize weed. That's all they did in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, there's dispensaries everywhere, and nobody's walking around like a zombie.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that we need the money here in New York State, and this could bring in several billions of dollars a year. I don't know how much, but, you know. But I'm. It's not like I smoke a lot of pot or whatever, but I would like to be able to go down to a dispensary and get like a what do you call it?
A pre-roll, a vape, an edible.
A vape,
baby.
Vape. See how out of it I am today?
See, I need one of those roofers. One of those Freddie Jazz cigarettes.
I gotta get those roofers.
I get those roofers, and then you eat them and you get high and you hallucinate.
So anyway, last night I had nothing to do. So late at night, what do? I go over to YouTube, and everything you ever wanted to see or find is on YouTube. I don't care what it is. I can find me doing stuff I don't remember I did. You know. on there. But I went looking for stuff, and what I came across is suddenly I realized, like, here's a question for you. When you were a kid, who was the first comic that ever made an impression on you that you truly loved as a child? As a child, not as an adult, but as a child.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, so who was it? Do you remember?
There was Soupy Sales and Sandy Becker, who were both on television.
These were on television, yeah.
Yeah, they were on television, had kids shows, and I absolutely loved them.
And there was something. What was it about Soupy Sales that appealed to you as a kid?
He was funny. I liked the pie fights. I liked he was just. Hello, wait a minute.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Just don't touch anything. Oh boy, there we go. Now you turned yourself off.
Okay, hold on. I'm not going anywhere.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Everything's fine. Don't touch anything. There we go. You're off again.
Wait a second. God damn it.
Wait, folks. Just
I don't know what happened. This is you here.
There you go. Now don't touch anything. Don't touch any. Get your hand out of the way. Don't touch anything.
Hey, a notice came on. I got rid of it.
Okay, just don't even pay attention to notices that come up. Just avoid them.
Pay no attention to the man in front of the New York City.
There's probably something has to do with something else on your iPhone. Don't have anything to do with it. Just keep your fingers off that screen.
I saw a nice picture.
Anyway, so it was Soupy. It was Soupy Sales. What, as a kid, appealed to you with Soupy Sales?
It was funny. He had the puppets, and he got hit with a pie, and God, the show was so big. Even Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack came on to get hit with pies. It was huge, and I loved it. And in 1965, they sent me away to camp for a month, and I had nervous breakdowns and panic attacks, so they couldn't watch Soupy Sales. They almost wheeled the TV and just so I could watch it.
I go back further than you, so I have to reference what I used to like in movies and then in early television. Okay, because we got our first television, I think, in 1951.
Wow.
Okay. And I come across these things on YouTube, and I suddenly realized what an impact one particular comedian had on me when I was a kid. And I'd like to think it was Jack Benny, but I listened to Jack Benny on radio, but I didn't really get to like him until later on. I began to realize his value, and every week I would listen to the Jack Benny show, but I didn't think of him in the same way that I thought of this one guy. And it was amazing to me when I watched it last night, the memories that washed back over me, not as a teenager, not as an adult, but as a child, okay? And that was Jimmy Durante. I don't know what it was about Durante, but I absolutely adored him. He was
he was extremely likable.
He was the dysfunctional uncle. You know? He was a member of every family. There was just something about Durante that was just, so likable.
Yep.
And I loved him as a child. I thought he was funny, and I loved him, and I wish he was my uncle. So that was my. So I spent some time with Durante yesterday, and they had this one thing where he was doing a number with a bunch of other people. One of them was Johnny Ray, who most people will forget completely. Okay. Then there was George Raft. Okay. Liberace.
Yeah.
Who else? There was one other. And they all did this song and dance number, and then each of them took a turn dancing. Who do you think blew them all out of the water?
Jimmy, cha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
No.
Look at these flying feet.
Nope, not him.
Nope.
Who you had now? Let me see if I got it right here. You had Liberace, you had Peter Lawford, George Raft, Jimmy Durante, and I think that was it. Maybe Durante, and then
George Raft could dance. I know that, but I don't know Liberace.
The one that just danced rings around them was George Raft.
George Raft, yeah.
Now,
Well,
when I say George Raft, folks, there most people, even the older ones watching me right now, don't remember George Raft. Don't touch that screen. They forget. They don't remember George Raft. You know, he didn't make that big an impression on Hollywood.
He was friends with Ben Siegel, Mr. Ben Siegel, the man who invented Las Vegas.
Well, when they did the movie, what was it, Cotton Club, there's this guy played by Richard Gere, who is a gangster, kind of, and he knows the gangsters, and then he goes to Hollywood and becomes a big movie star. And that was really based on George Raft. He had been associated with a lot of the really bad guys, like in Murder Incorporated and so on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, scary.
But George Raft just danced rings around them. I knew he was good because his first big movie, I think, was a picture called Bolero, in which he did dance. You know, so I knew that he had some chops for dancing. And then Peter Lawford was really good. And the reason he was good was because he worked at MGM and he had to do musicals. So they taught him how to dance.
Yeah.
Right? Liberace was okay. Liberace had a few steps in him.
I did my best, but my strength lies in my fingers.
Johnny Ray, again, how many here know who Johnny Ray was?
I do. If you're free,
This was a guy who didn't sing too well, but you excused him because he had a hearing aid.
You're the size of a toaster.
Yeah, it was like, right?
Big old, wasn't even like a little thing you couldn't see.
Well, in those days, they didn't have what we have today with the technology, where you put the earphones in, and then you stick them in your ear, and then there's a little antenna coming out, and you can hear good with them. All right. In those days, it was an earplug and then this thing you put on your chest, which was like a giant speaker. You look like something you look like a Dalek out of Doctor Who, you know. Johnny Ray was deaf. So you went, well, he may not be a good singer, but he's deaf. He doesn't know he can't sing.
Yeah, he can't help it.
What's
Fabian's excuse? He can hear.
He didn't last too long, did he?
Who? Johnny Ray?
Johnny Ray.
Yeah, no, he came and went.
I think it was about a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
Johnny Ray week. Enjoy it because it's going to go quick.
At least Fabian had a career for several years, and he made.
Yeah, they did. They put him in movies. They did this with him. They did
he was okay in movies.
He's a good-looking guy, you know. The camera liked him, but he couldn't sing for shit. Once he opened his mouth, it was over.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. He sang in the key of D minus. He was bad, very bad.
I think what he did is he sang, and then they adjusted the background music to him.
Oh yeah, because it was in different keys.
Yeah.
Multi-key. He's multi-keyist.
Yeah. Today you can take a terrible singer, and you can make him sound good.
Oh sure, it's like
what's it called? It's called auto tuning.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
Yeah. So you could
It's cheating.
It is cheating. There's no question about that. It is cheating.
It's cheating.
But they do it all the time now.
Yep. Well, I don't listen to it.
You know. So you don't know actually who sings well and who doesn't sing well. No. Okay? So that's what's terrible about it.
That's right.
You know, it just doesn't it's horrible what's going on. You know, technology can make anybody sound good. And what they do is, if you're singing off key, they just simply change your key.
That's right. Yeah, it's horrible.
So it is horrible. You know, I was listening to some recordings of Sinatra the other day, and he would go into a studio and he would only work with the orchestra around him. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, he really wanted to play with the orchestra. He loved having an orchestra, a live orchestra in the studio. And he would then go, I heard one thing where he did 5 takes of a song. And I'm going, you know, why didn't they just take the first part, which was good, then take the second part from another one and glue them together? He wouldn't do that.
Frank was a craftsman.
He wanted a complete live performance to be what wound up on disc, you know, so.
Dog tootin'.
Yeah, so amazing. But so everything's good out there in Las Wages.
Everything good. I got my jaw it was all messed up before, but it's okay now.
How much?
And I filmed the commercial last week, so they'll be showing it soon.
Commercial for what?
For a lawyer, for Anthony Paglia, injury attorney. And I played a slimy insurance salesman. We're not paying you nothing. Zero bookers.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, and it's a local commercial, I trust.
It's a local commercial. It should be fun. It's to be seen on CBS. So,
ladies and gentlemen, the lovely, the attractive, you always love him, and you love seeing him at your favorite comedy club when they were open.
When they were open, yes. I played a club in Alabama called I Don't Get It. That was one of my favorites. So,
ladies and gentlemen, he's called Stephen Pearl. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Alex. Always good to see you and all my tens of fans.
Okay.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody, how are you? Good evening to all of you out there. I think I'm ready to go tonight. Every night before I go on the air, lately, I've just been going, I just can't do it tonight. I just can't do it tonight. And then I just force myself to do it, and we do it, and it usually turns out to be a pretty damn good show. But the important part of this program is you calling and being a part of what we call the citizen panel. And you do that by simply going, the easiest way to do it is you go to gabnet.net, gabnet.net, that's our webpage. Over on the right-hand side, there is a thing that says, click here to Zoom us, okay? And then you go over there and click on it, and you Zoom us. Well, let me see if I can find it, just so you can see it, and so I can point it out to you. Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. Here we go. Let me see here. Actually, I don't want to do that, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay, so you'll get to see the whole screen here. But what I'm talking about is like right here. You see? Let me go right here. See right here? Right there? See? It says click here to join us at showtime on Zoom. And you just click that, and it doesn't matter whether you have Zoom in there or not. The fact of the matter is, if you don't have Zoom in your computer, it'll still take you there and put you on, okay? So please be my guest and do it, all right? Because the more people we have who are new and different, the better the show is, and the more people we have, the more robust the conversation becomes. And, good time to call right now, because most of the people don't start calling till about on the hour, because a lot of times I don't start really going to the citizen panel until then. But I do have 2 people who are waiting in the citizen panel, so it would probably do me well to go to them rather than to avoid them here. Hold on a second. Let me just, first I've got to go to Zoom panel. First of all, I've got to admit all. All right, fine. And then, see, I'm getting to the point where I can't remember how to do any of this stuff. There we go. There's our first couple of people. There's Robert Natali, and there is, of course, the ever-popular Charlie Wallace, or as we know him,
Dr. Doom. Wait, hold on. God, you're losing. I got to be better prepared.
You're losing your touch, Robert.
I am. Hold on.
Okay, as he's better known.
Jesus Christ. I'd be fired, right?
Yeah. No way you're going to be my partner on any show. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Admit Alan. He's coming on here. And also admit Jeffrey Stein, who's coming on here. All right. Okay.
When Dr. Doom is finished, I have a Johnny Ray story, actually.
Okay. Johnny Ray. I mentioned Johnny Ray to Stephen Pearl, and that's a name most people don't know.
I don't know Johnny Ray. George Raft, I knew.
George Raft, you knew. Wow. Yeah. You knew George Raft, but you didn't know Johnny Ray. Well, actually, George Raff was better known because he was in a lot of movies you may have seen on like TCM or someplace like that, you know. Whereas Johnny Ray's was a he had a very big success for about a week and a half, and that was about it. So, anyway, he was a couple of hit wonders, as we call them. Anyway, Charlie, in your capacity as Dr. Doom, what's the count and the amount today?
We lost 1,249 Americans today.
Oh, we were down below 900 yesterday, weren't we?
I know it's gotten worse. I think we may be hitting that post spring break surge.
Well,
the count is up for infections too. We had 67,000 new infections today.
Wow. So that means that could be. I don't think that's because of spring break, because we're just a couple of days away from spring break, and it takes longer than that for the infection to really grab hold. I would say Texas has been holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, 547,000 deaths, dead Americans now.
How many?
540. I need my glasses. 546,352.
Okay. All right. Yeah. In fact, I could have told you here because you've got it up there. Well, the current total, we had new infections. Total is that. And then the deaths were 546,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
We're over 30 million total COVID cases now.
Yeah. Well, Marjorie was still sick today. And then as the day went on, she got better. So, and now she seems to be out of the woods. And her temperature is, within the normal range. So,
so here's what you need to know about Johnny Ray.
Oh, okay. John, let me explain for a second here.
Okay.
For the audience who doesn't know what the hell we're talking about. Okay, let me bring Jeffrey Stein in here, the car thief. Johnny Ray was a singer back in, I think it was about 1955.
Yeah, about then.
Around there. And how I'm trying to remember when he was when one of my favorite comedic artists, Stan Freberg, did a parody of him.
That's right.
And that was about in the mid-50s, okay? Mm-hmm. So anyway, Johnny Ray was this singer. One thing we always noticed is he was hard of hearing, and he had a hearing aid. And in those days, in those days, the hearing aids, okay, were big, giant things in your ear, and then this box that was on the front of you. You kind of, as I said earlier, you look like a Dalek from Doctor Who, And everybody kind of forgave Johnny Ray that he didn't sing too well, because we figured, how could he sing if he couldn't hear himself, So, but he only lasted a short time, thank God, because he was just god awful and terrible.
Okay, so Johnny Ray, who you're right, a lot of people made fun of because he had a distinctive voice which could be very grating, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
But in any case, he was involved in a long-time illicit affair with the columnist Dorothy Kilgallen, who was a regular panelist on What's My Line? John Daly.
Right.
Now, she was a columnist. The reason why it was an illicit affair is because she was married at the time that this was all going on. And then I read all this in Dorothy Kilgallen's biography. Now, why the fuck would I ever read Dorothy Kilgallen's biography? Because Dorothy Kilgallen was found dead under some very suspicious circumstances.
Yes, absolutely.
They claimed on the official, death warrant that she died of a combination of alcohol and barbiturates, but many, including the biographer, hold that she had dirt on the Kennedy assassination that she was about to come forward with. In fact, she had just interviewed Jack Ruby. Wow. And so many feel that she was removed, shall we say.
Removed from the equation.
That's right.
Yeah. And so Johnny Ray was having an affair with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Long-standing.
If anybody here know who Dorothy Kilgallen was?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Because a lot of people remember her from like the What's My Line.
What's My Line reruns.
But she was a major columnist here in New York.
Yes.
Now we have somebody here that's trying to get on named Kit Tyro. Does that sound legit to you? Here, I'm gonna have hey, turn your mic down, will you, please, Alan?
I can.
It's horrible. It's just horrible.
I gotta figure out how to keep this down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's distorted.
Yeah, went up again. I don't know what's with this stupid thing.
Yeah, you got to bring it down. Great deal there. Okay, let me see. Kit Tyro. Okay, I've got to be ready to get rid of Kit Tyro as soon as possible. Okay, let's see what Kit Tyro is. Okay, if I don't see, oh, there.
I was going to guess it was John.
John, turn yourself sideways, please. Where are you?
I'm in a Vietnamese restaurant in the Tenderloin.
Oh, you're in a Vietnamese restaurant in the Tenderloin.
Correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
See, I got my...
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, get the napalm beef. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very popular. Very popular. Yeah, but you don't put down Kit Tyro. Then I don't know who you are, and then I'm afraid you're somebody. I'm going to go to you, and there's going to be two people screwing on the screen. You know?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. That's why I got to change the name.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it's all right. Hello, Brian. How are you?
Good. Hello.
This evening. Yeah. So anyway, I'm always tired. I'm always tired. Do you think that's just COVID fatigue? I mean,
is that why you're all red?
I'm not all red. See, I can do away with that, but then I get terribly white. All right.
Then you look sickly.
Well, yeah. Let me see here. See, here's what I can do. See, I can do this, and then I get rid of the red. You see? Yep. Right? Okay. See, but I like having the orange there a little bit because it, it makes me. It looks better. But the fact is that the problem is that the lights are bright, and I get really crazy when the light is too bright. Okay, but anyway, why am I doing this? Because Alan complained. By the way, I get a lot of letters about you, Alan. There are some listeners out there can't stand you.
I know.
Yeah.
So I sent you a message after the show last night. I see you haven't seen it yet.
What did you say?
I sent you a message in Instant Messenger. I'll send it in text next time.
Oh, okay. All right. No, here comes Tony. Oh, I gotta talk with Tony about something too. But here comes Tony. Okay, there we are. Hello, Tony.
Yo.
How are you? Connect your audio, Tony. There you are, Tony. Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
I have a something to argue with you about.
What did I do?
What did you do? Well, you always do something that just absolutely annoys the. No. Somebody wrote something on the Scott K. Now, who's Scott K? Do I know who this is? Well, let's see what happens if I hit Scott K here. Let's see who we get. Do we get anybody? I don't hear any audio yet. Oh, there's Scott K. Oh,
it worked.
Okay. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Where are you calling from?
Actually, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's never a shortage of people for Ohio for some reason.
We do have people in Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in Northeast Ohio, so I'm in Canton.
Where are you, Scott? Josh?
I live a little south of Columbus.
Yeah. And anybody else here in Ohio? No, not tonight.
Dan.
Well, Dan's from Ohio.
Dan's from Ohio, but he isn't calling, so he doesn't count.
Right.
Andrew, right? And then you have a regular on the Monday show that's from Ohio. The guy with glasses, the kind of funny guy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, welcome to our program, Scott.
Thanks.
Good to have you here.
I'm one of the lurkers that you complain about that never call in. I finally got the nerve to call in.
Well, finally, we get a lurker to call. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, Tony, the other day on the Facebook page or something, you wrote something, and then you wrote, I just love the Justice League movie.
I like the 4 hour. Could I watch it?
It is the biggest piece of crap I've ever seen.
Well, let me explain why, but it goes into the backstory more.
So you hit the backstory. Like, we need to see Bruce Wayne's parents get killed one more time. How many times has that been done in movies?
But you saw like a little bit of, he changed the origin.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, he changed the origins, right.
But I liked how you saw him bury the, the capsules, and you saw more how they came together, though.
The most horrible thing about this picture is that I hate these movies these days where the action sequences make no sense whatsoever.
You know what I don't like he does, Alex? Why does he do the slow motion all the time? I liked it with the Flash.
Well, I mean, the Flash is a guy who moves faster than you can see him, right?
Yeah.
And yet every time they go to the Flash going through his fast speed, it's like slow motion. Shouldn't it be really fast? You know, that movie sucked. Just sucked. It was 4 hours of my life wasted, and believe me, at my age, I don't want to waste 4 hours.
It was actually you know what it is? My brother was watching. He said, you got to watch it. So I was watching it in parts, and then I would go back to it.
Yeah, I watched it in parts too. I mean, but I went back and I watched the original version, and at least it made more sense.
I liked it, though, because I like to see more of the story, like how they got together, though.
The only thing I liked in the whole film is Wonder Woman. You know,
she's good as Wonder Woman. I also like.
Lane wasn't bad either.
What'd you say? Lois Lane isn't bad either. Amy Adams, yeah.
Amy Adams.
Yeah, but I mean, the only trouble with Wonder Woman is you never see what do you call it?
Tits?
No.
I guess you can hear me now. I think I was having problems earlier.
I probably should just give up doing this show. I can't remember anything anymore.
Wonder Woman, not the plane.
Huh?
What was the part of Wonder Woman that you didn't like?
You know, when you can see the cleft.
You can say it. We're adults.
Well, I'm trying to remember the term for it. That's how out of it I am tonight.
Vagina?
No, I know it's a vagina, but when you see it and somebody's wearing something and you can see the...
Oh, camel toe.
A camel toe, right.
Oh my God.
And and I know what the guy version is. I know what the guy version is. Anybody know what the guy version is of a camel toe?
No.
Anybody? Really?
Oh.
A moose knuckle.
Moose knuckle.
Oh, yeah.
Never heard of it.
Gotta look that up.
Yeah.
Hey, the Crazy Horse is open.
The Crazy Horse is open. What's the Crazy Horse?
It's a stripper club next to the Warfield. I'm going over there right now.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
How far they let you go in with the camera?
I don't think so.
Well, he's down in the Tenderloin, and that used to be like Skid Row. That was like
where is that Tenderloin?
This is where I work right here, the Warfield.
Warfield, yeah.
The Warfield Theater.
Yeah.
You know,
Crazy Horse.
That's something. Wait a minute. That's something you have in common with my father. My father worked the Warfield.
Really?
But he was in the orchestra.
Wow.
In the old days
cool.
when they had shows there. Yeah.
See, you have to go to the mask is required for entry.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's open.
Okay, yeah, it is. Can I want to say hi?
No, I don't want to say hi.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say hi to the girl behind the counter.
Oh well, go in. We're
she's coming out to the door.
Bounced out.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi. How are you? Do you remember? Oh, okay. I'm not recording. You're live. You're live on the Alex Bennett show. You remember the Alex Bennett show? Oh, okay. She doesn't know. She doesn't know who we are. Sorry.
He's the police. Watch out.
That's who we are. I'm trying to act official now.
Well, we were certainly welcome back in my hometown, weren't we?
Yeah. No, she got mad.
She's probably 18 years old. She doesn't.
Do you remember? You remember Alex Bennett? Who?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ask who the president is. See if he knows.
He used to be huge in this town.
There was a time when you wouldn't get a response like that. So how's everything in Ohio, Scott? What's happening in your neck of the woods? You're where again in Ohio?
I'm Canton, Ohio, Pro
Canton.
Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah.
I hate to say this, but I actually work for the state health department in infectious disease.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Yeah.
I got some stories.
So I won't say a lot, probably get in trouble, but yeah, so I'm kind of.
Would I be speaking out of line if I said that, well, I don't know, how is it in Ohio? Are they a little more respectful of the disease, or are they like...
Oh, no.
No.
It depends where you live.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, it's such a split state, and people still associate the mask with the liberal side, and I can't wear a mask because that means I'm with them. It's still, there's a lot of contention still in Ohio.
Wow.
So, and it's, I mean, we just had actually pretty close to where I live, a restaurant that sued because he didn't want to wear masks, and he just lost. So they have not worn masks at all since they've been open, since last year, and he lost.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, well, was that a hot spot for COVID, that restaurant? It must have been.
Well, it's out in the middle. It's not where a lot of population is, but I assume it may have
All
been.
you need is one population.
Yeah.
To cause a whole problem,
But I work in HIV and STD, and I work with people that do contact tracing for that, which we've done for decades. And suddenly now it's important because of COVID.
I don't remember them ever doing contact tracing for STDs, and if they did...
Oh, yeah, syphilis and HIV and gonorrhea.
That's funny. Then how come my door never got knocked on?
Yeah.
Imagine you were intertwined by a lot of people. Wait a second, this name keeps popping up.
Yeah. So I worked in STD for 27 years.
Let's see. He has syphilis, huh? Let's check Alex Bennett.
Yeah, I can look you up on a database.
Oh, go right ahead.
I could put in a request for California, New York.
Yeah, I don't think. I think I'm okay.
1965 is the last time he had VD. You don't.
Yeah, well, those are paper records. Then we don't have those.
1960. When was the last time I had VD? Huh? Longer than that. Not 1965. No, later than that. When did I get? See, what happened was when you used to get VD when you used to get like gonorrhea is what we're talking about here. Here today, gonorrhea. We used to go down to the health department because it was the cheapest place to go, and it was usually the only place open on the weekends. And they would see you, and then they would give you a shot and send you on your way. They'd test you and send you on your way. One day I go down there because I got something that's happening down in that area. And I go in, and they call me into the examination room. And the doctor says, listen, would you like to do us a great favor? I'm thinking, what kind of favor? I'm here because I've got the clap, right? And they said, we have a bunch of Japanese students here who are finding out how to do an inspection, or do an examination. Would you be willing to let them come in and look at me do your examination?
Really? And
I said, I thought to myself, and I went, I've never been able to give back to science, but here's my chance. Okay.
So how old were these guys?
Don't will you stop it? I'm telling a story. You're ruining my timing. Okay.
Sorry.
So I say, sure, send them in. 25 Japanese students walk in, and they're all staring at my dick while this doctor does whatever he has to do. So if they lowered the rate of gonorrhea in this country, it was my doing. I did my part.
3 or 4 of them still stay in touch.
Yes.
Literally.
It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I mean, I thought it'd be like 1 or 2 guys, that would come in and sure, let them look. 25 of them, and they've all got, oh, by the way, they've all also got cameras with them, you know.
Oh yeah.
That way they can take the picture home and blow it up.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway,
so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. So so they're using. Hey, listen, it's interesting. Today they showed this guy showed up in court, the guy who killed the 10 people, and they said they need extra time to make a plea, and they say because he seems to have mental problems.
No.
And I'm thinking to myself, is this something you have to explain to people? You know, you go into a yeah, right. You go into a supermarket and you shoot 10 people to death, and then you take your clothes off. He did that. That was the other thing he did. He took his clothes off after he had done that.
That made good sense. Right?
Well, he may have done it. He may have done it because he wanted the cops to see that he wasn't armed at that point. Yeah. What is all that noise?
It's barking.
What?
Bunch of hookers getting in an argument.
It's just riffraff.
Money.
Mute.
Hi. How you doing? Hey guys, we're live with the Alex Bennett show. Oh, yeah. Take care.
More people that are confused.
And on the street.
Yeah.
You wanted an audience.
Yeah. Anyway, where was I?
Oh, he stripped his clothes off.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think
do you have to tell?
take
Do you
his
have
clothes
to
off.
tell people that somebody's crazy?
Yeah.
When they kill 10 people like that, you know, and
now they got to get psychiatrists to confirm it.
Well, no, but what I find ridiculous about that is when they say, "Well, you can't use that as a defense." What do you mean? Does this mean then that killing 10 people in a grocery store or a supermarket is a sane action?
Exactly.
That it's the perfect example of sanity? You know, of course the guy was crazy. Anybody who does something like that is nuts on some level. Am I right or wrong, Alan, Mr. Gun Guy?
I agree.
You know.
I agree. If he only killed 9, then he wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah. But you know,
sad.
It was not a good day for white people. Okay.
Or to be in Colorado.
Yeah. There wasn't a single racial element there. I think they were all just real white people. Am I right? That got killed.
Yep.
Yeah. So
he has a Pakistani or something surname.
He was Pakistani something. And the family said he wasn't right in the head, you know. He always had a bad attitude about people, and he was always combative, and he had real problems. And then he goes into a gun shop and buys himself a rifle. Everybody's trying to. Oh, I see what's happening here. I suddenly have all these people that are calling the program. And, I don't want to admit them. Why did I admit him? I don't want to admit him. I'll get rid of him as soon as he shows up. Let me remove. Okay,
One of my fan clubs?
Yeah. And remove. Here we go.
Oh, no.
Remove. Wait a minute. Remove. Remove. Okay. Remove.
And buys
Hey, that was clean.
Yeah.
What?
That was clean. She had clothes on.
She had clothes on. I see. Hold on a second. I get it.
But
Maria Elena, I got to remove. Okay. I don't want to report that to Zoom either. Let's see here. Who are some of the other names? Romero. Remove this person. Wait a minute. There's so many of them that I don't know if I have time to remove them all. Okay. Remove. And I go, okay. You guys can keep talking while I do this. This should take the better part of the hour. Well, I won't.
What are we getting the questions from Robert? We haven't done that in a couple.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
Oh, Larkin's there. He just changed from his phone to his whatever. Here's Dante's boy. Oh, these are some terrible names they're using here. They're just Gambino Silva, and remove that, and to get rid of him. Let's see here. Robert Willen, remove him. Remove him.
Actually, hey Tony.
Yeah.
Did you hear what his plan was after Justice League? What he was going to do?
You know, I didn't hear. My brother was telling me that they think he had personal issues with the company, so I don't know if he's doing anything from all.
No, but his plan was Batman was going to die, Superman and Lois Lane were going to have a kid, and that kid was going to become the next Batman. That's what his plan was.
That was his plan. It's okay, but
that was his plan.
Yeah, but it's a question of whether DC lets him do that.
Yeah,
they probably won't.
You know, because you know what you can't do unless you get their permission is screw with the characters. All right, you know, or with the history of those characters. So, anyway.
You know, the problem I had was when they came up to Joker.
Oh,
and it wasn't Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
Oh, do you like that?
It wasn't Joaquin. It wasn't Joaquin Phoenix. It wasn't
the Joker, you know, and we sort of see him as the Joker now.
It wasn't Joaquin Phoenix.
Right, I know.
It was Jared Leto, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also an alternate reality, though, because Flash broke that timeline when he did.
You know, I think most people here tonight do not care about what we're talking about.
I do, but yeah.
I know you do, and it looks like Scott kind of does.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, and Robert is falling asleep.
Yeah.
And let me see here. And John Larkin isn't even there. Okay.
He's in the bathroom. Didn't you hear it?
Yeah. Anybody see Biden today give his press conference?
Yes, I did.
I heard a little bit.
Yeah. What did you think? Did you see it at all, Josh?
No, I did not.
You did not get to see it. Yes, Jeff.
I saw it.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought he did very well.
Thought so?
Really did.
There's one point
I
where
listened to it. I didn't see it. I was in the car and I heard it.
Your car or somebody else's?
A couple of different cars. One car.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze here. Hold on. You keep talking.
Driving was terrible today.
I watched Fox News after Biden, and they were saying, "Oh, the press was so nice to him. They were so mean to Trump, and blah blah blah." I said, well, "That's because Trump always lied and fucking he was an a-hole."
Yeah, well, I was watching it, and it's amazing because whenever you go over to Fox, it's like you go into another world altogether.
That's right. It's another world.
You go into an alternate reality. But then again, you know, you could argue that MSNBC is kind of an alternate reality, you know, because everything
IQ's a little higher.
Everything's fine with Biden. Everything's terrific with Biden. I was surprised they weren't making enough of he had a real thumper where he kind of lost his thought for the moment, kind of like I do. Okay. It's a function of age. And I'm surprised they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Because Fox was all over him saying, "Oh, wasn't that horrible? Wasn't he terrible today?" Yeah. Trying to excuse his behavior down on the border, you know, with the kids and stuff. No, I think he explained it perfectly, you know. I mean, we have to figure out what to do, and we got an onslaught, and we're going to make sure these kids are taken care of because they're kids, and when they're kids, they're our responsibility, you know. And I thought that was a very nice reply. Yes, Alan.
So when he tripped, the Republicans made a big deal about it, tripping on the steps. And somebody sent me a joke.
But wait a minute, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Okay, well, a Republican, no, forget about Republican. A friend of mine sent me a joke, and it said, okay, he slipped on the steps. Somebody wake me up when he tries to change the direction of a tornado with a Sharpie pin.
Oh yes, right.
Did the weather thing with the Sharpie pin.
Well, didn't Trump also draw kind of like a penis? Wasn't that kind of like a penis that he drew with the Sharpie pen to show the path of the tornado?
Hurricane was going to go into Florida or something.
Yeah. So listen, John Larkin, you just walked out there on the streets of the Tenderloin, and you couldn't get anybody to really talk to you, right?
No, I could have. Not that hooker. I mean, not that dancer at the place.
Was she a dancer?
Well, I'd imagine she was working there. I don't know. I never go in there.
The Warfield is now a strip joint?
Oh, it's right next to the Warfield. It's called the Crazy Horse.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. And that's where you were
Been there for like 100 years. It used to be a movie theater.
Everything used to be a movie theater.
Yeah.
You know, across the street here, we have the first movie palace in America.
All right.
And
Really? Wow.
and it was bought a year into its existence by Roxy, who turned it into a movie palace in somewhere in the 1900s, 1910s, or something like that. And it was a movie theater until the 60s or 70s, and then it was bought by a church, and it's now like, you know, this Bible-thumping religious venue.
How many mobsters were killed in there?
Were killed in where?
In the theater.
What?
You know,
what?
when the mob was big in New York.
They weren't big not in Harlem.
Oh, I don't know.
Unless you want.
I don't know New York.
Yeah. Yes, John. Boy, I'm out of it tonight. Yes, John.
You know who died?
Jessica Walters.
Playing at the Warfield Theater the night that he played there.
Who died the night that he was playing at the Warfield Theater?
Yeah,
Natalie Wood.
He died at the St. Francis Hotel though, but he was playing. He had a show at the Warfield.
Okay, so tell us.
Al Jolson.
Al Jolson died.
And he died?
He died.
Yep.
He's dead?
They're still alive.
He died in San Francisco.
Oh, God.
I didn't know that.
At the St. Francis, yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, the
Yeah.
St. Francis Hotel.
Yeah.
And then
He was performing. He was performing at the Warfield that night.
Gee, I wonder if my father was playing violin.
Probably.
You know, because he used to play with the Pitt Orchestra during that period of time. Wow.
That's cool.
Well, Jolson didn't die till the 50s, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody here remember Al Jolson?
Sure.
Oh, okay. You all remember Al Jolson.
Personally, no.
No.
His ghost haunts the Warfield too.
It what?
His ghost haunts the Warfield. It's a haunted theater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I know, because I've worked there for about since the 90s, and sometimes in the old days when a band would play a couple nights there,
Yeah.
they would have like a security person spend the night in the theater to keep an eye on the equipment because it's an easy place to get into.
Yeah.
And I about 4 or 5 of those people that did that quit and never came back. They just
Well, you know what happened to me at the Warfield Theater is my father was playing with the band there, and after the show, I was supposed to meet him there. My mother, I think, may have been with me. I can't remember. It would have had to be because I was a kid. I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. And then what he would do is he would take me over to the Musicians Union, and we would go sit at the bar while he drank and I ate beef jerky. But anyway, he was working a show, and it was Lena Horne. And my father always, whenever he talked about Lena Horne, isn't she gorgeous? I love her, you know? So now I'm waiting for my father to come out, and he is about to come out, but before him, here comes Lena Horne. And I run up to Lena Horne, and my father is now up behind me, and I say, Miss Horne, my father loves you.
Oh.
She was very sweet about it. She was very nice.
Oh, that's good.
She
That's
kind of
good.
patted me on the head, and
Probably talked about that at Thanksgiving.
And that was
dinner
my
for
meeting
years to
with
come.
Lena Horne. And the rest of my family used to play there too. Like my aunt played a harp. She was a harpist, and she played with the San Francisco Symphony. But that being with the San Francisco Symphony didn't pay full time in those days. So she would work the pit at the Curran Theater, where they would do musicals, and then she would play the Warfield when Spike Jones came to town. Now you all remember Spike Jones, don't you?
remember the name.
And what her bit is she used to sit there with her harp on stage, and they would do like 6 shows a day. And at the end of this 45-minute show, she didn't ever once touch the harp. She was knitting through the whole show. That was her bit. Knit, knit, knit. And then at the end of the show, she does one glissando and goes back to knitting.
Oh, wow.
And after a week of playing there with Spike Jones, she had a piece of knitting that went all the way across the stage because they did like 6 shows a day at this theater. But she was the harpist with the Spike Jones Orchestra whenever they come to town. So, what can I say?
Robert's question.
Yes, Rob.
My father actually once shared a bill with Frank Sinatra. That's a true story. My father and uncle sang as a duet in local nightclubs, including a joint in North Bergen, New Jersey.
Called?
Frank Sinatra was about near Hoboken.
Then it was called the Log Cabin, I think, or something like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
My uncle's family has the poster. My dad and uncle actually had higher billing because Frank Sinatra at the time was about 15 or 14. He was some ridiculously young age.
Yeah.
And so he was a nobody. But we got a lot of mileage out of showing that poster to people.
Yeah. Well, I think it was the Log Cabin where he became well known in New Jersey. And then he became so well known, he came over to New York and started working radio and doing things like that, But it wasn't a short uphill. It wasn't a short rise to the top. It took him a while, He had to do his stuff. And it was the Log Cabin, I think, where Harry James came in and saw him and said, come work with my band. Yeah. So, how do I know these things?
But you can't remember Camel Toe.
I can't remember Camel Toe. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Can't remember Camel Toe. Yeah, I do remember Moose Moose Knuckle.
Moose.
Oh, see where my preoccupation is. Anyway, let's see here. So we have Ohio represented tonight twice, also in the form of Josh. Josh, anything you want to talk about at all?
I don't know if there's anything in particular. I didn't really have any news the last 2 days. My wife was in an accident. So,
what?
Oh no!
What happened? What happened?
She fell down at work, carrying something and tripped over a box, and she fell down on her side and broke some bones and stuff like that. So they had to take her to the hospital. So I had to leave work and go there, and then get her home. Then I had to take her back out today for some orthopedic stuff. And I mean, she's home and everything.
Is she going to be okay? Is she going to be okay?
Yeah, it'll be okay. The stuff that wasn't broken, she was just all bruised up on that side, and like she couldn't drive, couldn't really, wasn't walking very well and everything. So, I didn't really get any news or anything. And then I kind of had to work from home today and do a lot of my computer stuff and everything for work. And so I was just busy as heck. So I didn't really have any news. I mean, I knew Biden had his press conference, and I saw some of the, like tweets or headlines and short little bits about it, but nothing major. I saw Georgia pass their voting rights.
Do you know it says?
Voting rights.
What it says we are going to pass now in New York City. They announced today that they have finally come to a accord on the legalization of marijuana, of cannabis in New York State. And they figure, hey, Cuomo's been wanting to do it for years because, I mean, how are you going to get women to fuck you unless you have some pot? But no, he has wanted it for years because he feels it would add to the coffers, the state coffers, financially. And right now, we need it because this COVID thing has knocked our whole budget for a loop. So he finally convinced them that this was a good thing to do, and I think today they voted that they're going to make it legal.
So in California, they used that same idea to legalize it, and they legalized it, and the state has not made a whole lot of money on it, tax-wise, because there's a lot of pot growers that don't want to get known because it's still against the law federally. And so when they, like the marijuana dispensaries in California, they can't deal with banks because they're federally insured. And so they gotta figure out.
I believe that's about to be done away with. I know they had that problem.
Right.
They had that problem in Colorado. That was a big problem. And what these people had to do was go out and buy more safes than they could fit in a store just to keep the money. And then they had to hire armed guards to, sit there and protect the money.
Here too.
What happened was, though, they did find a place finally to put their money, and I think so have the growers in California and so have the stores, and that's credit unions. Credit unions can take the money, and they are not regulated by the federal government, at least like the banks are. What they've argued about is that banks are federally regulated, and because federally it is illegal, you can't use a bank to put the money in, but the credit unions are okay. So that's what they're doing to protect their money in Colorado.
When this first happened, they were looking for people that could carry a gun concealed, and they were offering big bucks to those people to stand guard.
Yep.
But in California, like a lot of states, drugs and guns don't go well together. So the money isn't worth it to me.
Well, you say drugs and guns don't go well together, but once this is legalized, you can't put it in the same category with other drugs. It doesn't become a dangerous commodity.
That's my thought. Yeah, that's my thought. I mean, the war on drugs hasn't worked in this country, so you should legalize these drugs and do things differently.
Well, you should have a war against things you can have a war against. You can't have a war against a weed. And I've said before that I felt this. Here was a good example. A while back, they said, "Do you know how much money comes up from Colombia every year? How much money we spend in buying stuff from Colombia?" They said several $1 billion, or I don't know, however billions of dollars it was. And but we're going to fight it. We're going to put all our backbone against it. We're going to arm up the government. We're going to send all our narcs down there to just squash the Colombian drug trade. Well, they weren't able to do it. So we spent $27 billion when we could have taken $20 billion and given it to the Colombian narcos and said, here's $20 billion. Don't send any more our way, okay? We're making it worth your while. You're not going to lose any money. We could have bought them off cheaper than it cost us to interdict it. We've always been stupid in the way we've handled this problem.
That's for sure.
And
it also goes back to something we were talking about last night, and that's the fact that a lot of police departments have people who are making good salaries to fight drugs, and is it in their vested interest really to eliminate the drug trade altogether? You know what I mean? Like their livelihood.
The argument was this: there is more money being made off of the interdiction of drugs than on the drugs themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. And that it has become an industry in which, if we did away with drugs, we might do away with, I think it was estimated, I don't know what percentage of the crime out there, but it was over 20%, 25% of the crime.
Oh, yeah.
And if we legalized it all, that would mean then I guess we could get rid of 20 to 25% of the police force.
Yeah, there you go.
What I'm saying is, legalizing it, they did that, by the way, is it in Oregon now, that every drug is legal, heroin, everything, decriminalized. And I think they're going to find that it's going to help the problem, because people who have a problem are going to be more visible, so maybe you can interdict and help them, okay? And you're just not going to be spending all that money on interdiction.
I got just sort of off topic, but a general observation.
Mm-hmm.
When heroin addicts, what they'll do in my neighborhood anyway is they'll go into like a trance, and then they'll stand and start bending over, and then they start twisting,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll stand there twisted up like that, bent over for like hours, and then they continually do that, and then they screw their backs all up so they can't walk straight anymore, and they have to walk all like this. It's really
well. What I said years ago was, if you ever noticed heroin addicts, they never seem to fall to the ground.
Yeah.
They'll start going, and just as you think they're about ready to fall to the ground, they pop right back up again. You know.
Yeah.
So heroin, like all narcotics, are a depressant, and a lot of heroin addicts get a little too much heroin in them, and they start with the police, or what they call nodding out.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They're falling asleep and about ready to crash, and they'll wake themselves back up and realize that they're about ready to fall on the ground, and they're fine for a few minutes until they start nodding out again.
And they go down again. Yeah. So I said, if you don't want to ever fall down, take heroin. You know,
no, that hurts.
It keeps you standing up. But anyway, all I'm saying is that we've spent way too much money interdicting drugs when we could probably save a lot of money by not interdicting it, and also have a more palatable way of solving the problems of drugs. Because then you know who is a heroin addict, and if they want help, they'll be willing to ask for help easier when they know they're not going to be arrested for it. You know,
go to a place where people could watch them and make sure they don't stand there like a weeping willow.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. What do you think?
I mean, I would be fine with the complete legalization, and then simply taking all that money and all those personnel and just simply redeploying them to enforcing, you know, for example, the laws on, you know, weapons. And, you know, what Republican could really argue with that, because they're always saying, oh, we don't need any more gun laws. We just need to enforce the ones that are on the books. Well, then let's start doing that. I mean, you know, I mean, if you work for the DEA, congratulations, you now work for the ATF.
Well, yeah, you know, I often have you know how I'm against guns, Josh, and I would like to stop them from being sold and owned and used and all of that. Okay, and Alan's going apoplectic now as I'm saying this, but the point is that there's another part of me that goes, I don't want to make them illegal, because then all of a sudden we have the same problem we have with drugs. Something that's illegal is not manageable.
Well, and then I guess so. I would be fine with, like I said, though, you know, just deploying them to enforcing the laws that we do have, like not going out and rounding them up or anything like that, but rounding up the illegal ones and just stepping up enforcement for the laws that we have in place for buying them. Like we wouldn't even have to change anything. We would just simply become more strict about it. You know, I mean, cops shouldn't want people to have illegal guns either. I mean, you know, I mean, if you're not supposed to own it, you're not supposed to own it. I mean, I think that's what I said last night was, if the police or the government or whatever, whoever you want to say, if they spent a tenth as much time worrying about illegal weapons as they did worrying about who can get a fucking Percocet or a Vicodin in this country, I mean, you know, gun laws are like paper thin, like 2 pages. I mean, the rules and regulations for how a doctor can give you an opioid in this country, the fucking book is this goddamn thick. I mean, it's I mean, only have it for this many days, and then you got to this blah, blah. I mean, you got to see this doctor, and then they test you, and blood test, and urine test, and hair samples, make sure you're taking it. I mean, it's crazy, but
I have
like
a drug.
I said, but if you want to, but can I have a weapon? Oh, like I said, well, they're on 2 for 1 special.
I have a drug.
And they come with free bullets this week.
I have a drug I use called pregabalin, which is generic Lyrica, which is also another version of another drug called gabapentin. Now, I got gabapentin, and I just took gabapentin, and I get a couple of bottles a month, and nobody ever asked me, no problems, whatever. Now, with the pregabalin, it's a controlled substance. Now, I asked my doctor the other day who prescribed it to me, why is it a prescribed substance? He says, beats me, it's the same as gabapentin, just a little more powerful.
Yeah.
But somehow they decide this drug will be a controlled substance, this won't. And therefore, the ones that are controlled substances are much harder for you to lay.
Yeah, the Federal Controlled Drug Board and all that has nothing better to do than think up new laws to control.
Well, how do they keep themselves in business?
Absolutely.
If drugs weren't illegal, they'd be out of work too.
I think if they got rid of illegal drugs, if you were able to get them legally, like somebody I think you said, Alex, that you can get help or something if you needed it without fear of law enforcement. And I also think that a lot of people are murdered in this country over drug sales and being high and stupid on drugs.
Yeah,
I was going to point that out as well, that not only would you be able to save police from just specifically being assigned to DEA and
right,
DARE and all such programs, also the ancillary crime that gets committed in the pursuit of drugs would
absolutely.
Yep. Haven't we learned any lessons from Prohibition? When we repealed Prohibition, the black market was suddenly, it was expunged, it was gone. And so, we haven't learned that, I guess.
Well, I think the other thing that's sad is how easily pot now is being legalized everywhere, where there was a time in this country when I was growing up where if you got busted for pot, you went to jail for 20 years.
Well, that stuff's still going on, though, I read this headlines 4 or 5 days ago, and I roll my eyes at it. I'm really kind of upset, or not really upset, but like disappointed in Joe Biden over it. Is apparently they fire 5 people for admission that they had used marijuana in the past. In the past, not even at work, or since they've been hired in the past. Like, what? Like
And by the way,
working here at the White House, and I'm doing a really good job, and someone walks up and says, "Have you ever smoked marijuana?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, this one time at band camp." And then all of a sudden, you're fired. I mean, like,
yeah, I couldn't figure that one out because to begin with, in Washington D.C., where's marijuana legal? Washington D.C.
Now, I didn't read a shit ton of details about it, like,
and it wasn't that they were. It wasn't.
I don't even care. I mean, it wasn't at fucking work.
If they
don't care in Washington D.C. either. Look at Marion Barry.
If they did it on the job, okay, I might have an argument, for it. Hey, because you don't want them drinking booze on the job either, okay?
Right.
But they weren't. This wasn't what they were accused of,
they had just admitted that they had used, and it wasn't even like quote unquote, illicit drugs. It was, my understanding was it was specifically marijuana.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like they were like, I was a crack addict or I used some. I mean, like, even if they were like, so what? You're reformed now. Good for you. I mean, I thought that's what we wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't work for the Biden administration if you've smoked marijuana before. I mean, in the liberal circles, it's going to be a small fucking club.
How do you think the vice president got through law school on marijuana? Probably.
Well, I mean, I think that it's just sad that there was a time when people went to jail for 20 years for this, and now it's legal.
Yeah, well, when I started, marijuana in California was still a felony, any amount.
Brian's been a little quiet tonight, as has Kevin. How are both of you tonight?
Stoned.
Huh?
We're all sitting here waiting for Robert's question.
No, we're not. Alan, be quiet.
Well, do you have a quick question you could throw at us, Robert?
What, do I amuse you? Is that
yes, you do.
Jesus Christ.
Do you have
a break?
Do you have a question tonight at all?
Sure.
Here, let's throw out one question.
Jesus.
We'll find out something else illegal about Jeff.
All right. Have you ever shit or pissed your pants? Honestly, shit or pissed your pants? Come on.
In case people have just joined, in case people just have joined us, these are the really hot topics that we. Have I ever peed or shit my pants?
The answer is no.
Not figuratively, literally.
I sharted. These things,
Well, sharding is a form of shitting in your pants.
Yeah. Well, then me.
That's shitting in your pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that.
How about you, Alan?
Oh yeah. I mean, anybody that doesn't say that they've had an accident. I mean, I don't. I don't. But the older you get, you can't trust a fart.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
You go. Wait a minute. Oh, what did I just do? Yeah.
You bet.
How about you, Charlie?
Well, it depends.
What do you mean it depends? You either peed your pants or shit your pants.
Everybody has. I mean, like you said, you think you're gonna fart, and all of a sudden.
I've been so sick, it's coming out both ends.
Yeah. How about a younger guy like Brian?
Yeah, now you bring it up. Yeah, I think I was on the rush from home and just barely made it. My pants were down and just boom, and I think it went in the back of the toilet. Yeah.
How about you, Kevin?
Well, we had a good conversation going, and I think I just did right now.
Jeff?
Too hard of a left turn there.
No, Jeff. How about Josh? How about you?
This is. Nah, I'm don't think so.
How about you? I want to hear Tony. Tony?
Well, the only time that I came close is we went, me and my brother and my mother and my dad was alive. We went to the Italian restaurant in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And
that'll do it to you.
And when we came home, we had hors d'oeuvres, but the sauce went through me. And my father had to go to the bathroom first. So he was in there and I was holding it and we both got diarrhea, but I got out in time. I was banging on the door. You got to get out. And he says, I can't. And all I heard was, it was coming out. Me and him had
How about you, Scott? Our newbie here, Scott?
Well, I've sharted, but I just turned 50. So I had my colonoscopy for the very first time.
Yeah.
I tell you, the time from leaving my house to driving to the hospital, it was close.
Really?
I was really
because I
worried.
usually
Yes,
found that whenever I took all that stuff, by the time it wore off enough that it was time for me to go to the thing, I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't have anything in me.
No, I had to take the stuff from, I think, 3 in the afternoon to 11 at night. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and take it for 2 hours.
Right.
And then wait 2 hours and then go. But I tell you, it was close.
Wow.
It still wasn't all out of me.
Oh, they must do it different there.
Yeah, really.
I was coming.
You should be able to do your last course of that stuff at the hospital.
Yeah, after like the third course, the third glass of stuff, I'm like wondering, why do I need to do the rest of the gallon?
Well,
and what did the doctor tell you? What did the doctor tell you, Alex? Come on.
What?
After you did the colonoscopy, when you took the stuff,
he said he was amazed how clean I was. And what I did, I never take the gallon of stuff. I take the citric magnesium citrate.
Yeah.
And you take a bottle of that, and then you take a couple of, I think, laxatives with it, and then all of a sudden, everything in you, including, I think, your liver, falls out of your ass. And then the next morning you do some more, and it just clears out what's left,
It's nice to have some kind of like Vaseline or something because it gets really rough down there.
Well,
after being on the toilet all night.
Baby wipes.
Baby wipes. There you go.
That's no fun. However, the actual colonoscopy is fun because they put you out and they give you this nice twilight drug that kind of like there's a slight ring and you just feel great. And then the next thing you know, the doctor's looking down at you going, well, I said, when are you going to start? And he goes, it's all over,
Yeah.
And I got the drug that Michael Jackson OD'd on.
Well, that
was the best sleep I've ever had in my life. No wonder.
Wow.
Well, I didn't really know that I slept because it's kind of like somebody has taken your life and edited 25 minutes out of it,
Right.
Yeah, they said I was awake the whole time. They were asking questions and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden your memory's gone. You don't remember it.
You have no concept of time.
Yeah.
Right. So the drug you're talking about is called Versed. It's in the Valium family. Valium is long acting. So Versed is short acting, quick duration. But the one side effect of Versed, and the reason why they use it, is it causes what they call conscious sedation. And so, yeah, you're conscious and you're awake, but you don't remember anything.
We didn't want a technical description once we were saying how good the other stuff felt.
Yeah, well, just ask me. I know a little bit about drugs.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Good information.
But I know,
There you go.
But we didn't get an answer out of John Larkin. John, have you ever pooped your pants or peed your pants? Huh?
I've been so sick, it's coming out both ends a few times.
Yeah. Well,
shit coming out of your mouth. What's up with that?
I had a guy that worked with us at Sirius XM, who He got on the subway.
Garrett, was that his name?
Garrett was coming to work. You know the story. Remember, he would tell the story, and we just were dying when he told the story because he was on the F train or something like that. And all of a sudden, he had this urge. He really had to go. You know, he had he felt the trots coming on, and he didn't know what to do. So he got off at a stop, and then he couldn't go any further. He went into the corner of the train station and unloaded right there.
Yep.
And then he put his pants back on, and some of it remained in his pants. And then he came to Sirius, and there was an executive shower that none of us were allowed to use, but he knew where it was, and he went in there, and he took a shower, and his pants were wet for hours. You know.
It didn't smell too.
But imagine being in that kind of situation where you're on the subway train. And they years ago did away with toilets in the train stations, right? They just don't exist. That and candy machines were taken out too, because who wants to eat a candy bar that's been sitting in a machine in the subway? But anyway, that was a big deal.
That was a great question, Robert.
It was a very good question. Well, it's a very human question because we've all, I think, gone through it except Josh, who's perfect. And it never happened to him, and it just happened to Kevin while we were talking. So that made life good too.
And I haven't gotten up yet either.
Oh boy, yeah. But you know, I mean, getting back to the whole drug thing, I think that we've dealt with it very badly over the years, and it was all because of a guy by the name of Harry J. Anslinger, who was the head of the FBI's Department of Narcotics and whatever. He's the guy that came up with the idea that marijuana should be illegal because he wanted a job for life. And he did it. And that was his job. He was the one that went after Billie Holiday. If you go see that movie about Billie Holiday, they portray Harry J. Anslinger, who was just he was the guy that made life miserable for a lot of people. Because drugs should have never been made illegal. They should have been made a medical problem. I agree with that if you want to talk about certain drugs being a medical problem, but they shouldn't have been illegal. Too many people went to jail for all of that, for too many years. You know?
Absolutely. It's unfortunate.
And if the drugs didn't ruin their lives, the arrest did.
Absolutely.
What were you going to say, Charlie?
Was that perfect?
Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, I thought
I was going to say so. I thought one of the reasons was DuPont thought hemp was a threat to nylon, and they were behind some of the propaganda against marijuana, or no?
No. As a matter of fact, the only thing that hemp was hemp. Hemp was what they made rope out of.
Yeah.
You know, and what they did is during World War II. There's a quick story. Then we got to go because I got to play the theme here. But during World War II. We had to make hemp because it all came from the Mideast and it was hard to get it here. So we started growing hemp plants in the Midwest. And after the war, it seems that every summer, the highways in Kansas would be strewn on either side with these hemp bushes, or as we know them, cannabis. And people would just stop by the side of the road and chop the stuff down and take it home, you know. But they finally got rid of all that stuff.
So you can climb rope and then 20 minutes later smoke the rope.
That's right. That's exactly. Hey, listen, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. Geez. You do that one more time, I'm going to kill you. It's just, hey, it's so cute. It's so cute.
Those are the faces he puts up when he's about ready to shit his pants.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. The funniest remark of the night, by the way. Let me just say that. Jeff, thank you. Josh, thank you. Thank you to Tony. Thank you. Will you call us again, Scott, please?
Sure.
We love having you on.
Tomorrow would be a good time.
And of course, and John Larkin, thank you so much. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. There they go. All of them. Let me get rid of them here. And there they go. Boom. They're gone. Hey, listen, we're back again tomorrow night. Next is Jack Bishop. He's got The Intersection. He'll be taking your calls on Skype at Gabnet Live. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, be safe out there. Wear a mask for yourself and everybody else. Bye-bye.